All right. Hey everyone, I'm Maddie, one of the co-founders of Colosseum, and welcome to our official demo day. We're excited to have you watch the upcoming product pitches from our 4th accelerator batch. Each of the founders were selected as winners in the Solana Cypherpunk Hackathon or our ongoing Eternal Sprint, so thank you all for joining. As a reminder, Colosseum runs hackathons to both attract the best talent into the crypto ecosystem as well as evaluate founders for our accelerator program. Thousands of developers teamed up to submit 1,576 product submissions in Cypherpunk, and we felt these winners were the best based on their speed, their ability to execute, their backgrounds, and their product visions. We've been working with this group of founders as part of our accelerator for the past 2 months, and today they have prepared 11 pitches for you, each lasting roughly 2 minutes. As you can see on the page, you may click into each of the startups to learn more and schedule calls to kick off seed funding conversations after we finish today. So again, thanks everyone for being here, and we hope you enjoy the presentations.
Hi, I'm Igor, founder of Kormos. Kormos is building the distribution layer for real-world assets on Solana. Today, there is a major gap between DeFi liquidity and real-world assets. Traditional credit and other RWAs often have long redemption periods and compliance restrictions, which means they can't easily integrate with DeFi protocols that expect instant liquidity and composability. As a result, a huge amount of high-quality yield remains inaccessible to on-chain users. Kormos solves this with an on-chain assets and liabilities matching engine. We transform long-duration RWA yield into liquid DeFi products through a tranche structure utilizing fractional reserves. Users can choose between a liquid senior tranche yielding around 7 to 9%, or a locked junior tranche which captures high yield in the range of 10 to 15% and absorbs more risk of the underlying. Under the hood, Kormos allocates capital across real-world yield opportunities and DeFi liquidity venues, optimizing duration and yield while maintaining on-chain composability. Our go-to-market strategy is first to partner with existing RWA protocols on Solana for distribution, and second to onboard proprietary institutional RWA sources such as private credit and receivables funds that we know through our network. Long term, we believe that owning distribution positions us to expand vertically into an RWA launchpad and an institutional credit desk, and opens up opportunities to construct bespoke structured products for institutional LPs utilizing our Vault architecture. Our team combines deep Solana engineering with traditional finance experience. We're experienced Solana builders who've already launched multiple DeFi products on chain and have successful exits behind our backs. Today, our private beta is already live on mainnet, and we're preparing for our first audit and institutional setup. Do get in touch if you're interested to chat, as we're about to kick off our fundraise, and I'm just going to quickly show you our mainnet beta right here. You can select the pool right here, which is our test pool. You can deposit and withdraw. For deposit, we have our liquid tranche here, which we're calling Prime, and our locked tranche, which we're calling Boosted. You can select the different redemption periods here. We have the 1 minute cooldown period here as we're testing withdrawals, and we have a portfolio page right here. Access can be provided upon request. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Adam, co-founder of Unruggable and recent Colosseum Grand Champions. We're building the next generation hardware wallet with hot wallet speed and cold wallet security. Hardware wallets have a UX problem. They're slow, limited in features, and frustrating to use. This is because they're constrained by multi-chain design, forced to be generous to support hundreds of blockchains. Every blockchain they support works differently, forcing them to focus on compatibility at the expense of UX. Meanwhile, Solana has emerged as the execution layer for internet capital markets. It's fast, intuitive, and puts every asset and market on one chain. Hardware wallets haven't adapted to this shift, and the need for multi-chain is reducing as activity consolidates on one high-performance chain. This is the gap that we're here to solve. Unruggable is a hardware wallet and app built around Solana's architecture. The result is a faster, simpler UX with native staking, swaps, perps, yield, privacy, and multi-sig, all directly from your hardware wallet. Setup takes under 30 seconds and removes friction that's made hardware wallets frustrating to use. This also allows us to iterate faster. We ship clear signing for Solana in weeks, something hardware wallets haven't solved in 5 years. This focus gives us an edge multi-chain devices simply can't replicate. And the demand for Unruggable is already proven. We've sold over 1,000 units despite no financial incentives, an 8-month lead time, and just $5,000 in marketing spend. We've also won Solana's largest hackathons. Grand champions at Colosseum Cypherpunk and the Solana Privacy Hackathon have pre-seed backing from Colosseum and amplification from leaders in the Solana ecosystem. The hardware wallet market is now a multi-billion-dollar opportunity and growing year on year. Ledger is proof the model works with $300 million in revenue, 8 million devices sold, 575 million raised, and are now valued at $4 billion. Simultaneously, Solana adoption is exploding with rapid user growth, all-time high revenue, transactions, and institutional adoption. There's also proven demand for Solana native hardware, and Unruggable is at the center of these three growing markets. We generate revenue beyond just hardware. Each device brings users into our ecosystem, where we generate recurring revenue for our app and validator layers. The result is a scalable revenue model that compounds with user growth, not just one-time device sales. Our edge comes from a lean team that executes. Bill, our founder, has built Unruggable end-to-end across hardware and software. He holds a PhD, 10 years engineering experience, and 5 years of Solana development. I'm Adam, leading marketing, sales, and operations, and Andrew heads branding, UI, and product design. We're a Solana native team with low burn that covers the full stack end-to-end. We're raising a $2 million seed round to scale distribution and accelerate growth. We built the foundation, and this round we're looking for long-term investors to scale Unruggable globally to hundreds of thousands of users. Thank you for listening.
Hey, my name is Ryan and I'm building Capitola Research. Capitola Research builds novel information finance applications. While prediction markets have found cultural product market fit, the actual markets haven't changed. This is not because the asset class or the products are mature or the current products are the final form of prediction markets. My background is in engineering and economics, and I have worked at Solana, Helios, and Infinity. I started trading prediction markets on Predictit for the 2020 election and traded prediction markets full-time throughout 2025. I have been involved with prediction market literature and products since first learning about them in high school econ class. The user experience and core issues are still the same today. Capitola Research's first product is VistaDex. VistaDex is a full-stack prediction markets platform enabling users to trade all events at the best price from a single account on Solana. Today, prediction markets are fragmented across venues with siloed liquidity. VistaDex is an opinionated front-end that leverages our intent-based RFQ system and exchange contracts to give users the best price. VisaDex is live on mainnet in early alpha. Users interact with our front end or API to trade all events that exist on Polymarket and Kalshi with no reliance on the underlying trading infrastructure of any external platforms. The current state of prediction markets leaves much to be desired. Providing the best full-stack venue to trade all events is just the first step to stewarding a better long-term equilibrium via market-based objective accountability. Capitola Research takes research insights derived from data and first principles to create novel, differentiated products. Agents unlock new opportunities to express viewpoints on the world via automated 24/7 trading with their own set of unique constraints. In the coming weeks, VisaDex will launch an arena for agents to trade based on the claims of people across industries and create novel trading primitives that restore prediction markets back to their core purpose of eliciting truth through finance.
Hi, I'm Shri, co-founder and CEO at Credible. Credible is the first payment gateway built on stablecoins. Stablecoins solved the global money movement, but the payment gateways are still taking 3 to 7 days for settlement. Gateways like Stripe and Adyen, they process over $20 trillion worth of payments every year, and the minimum settlement time is 3 days and can be up to 11 days. That's where Credible comes in. Credible combines the traditional payment gateway infrastructure with stablecoin liquidity to offer T+0 settlement, better FX rate, and local payment method coverage. We are already live in US India corridor, and we will be soon live in other markets. In last 5 months of our operations, we have already processed over $350 million worth of transactions. We are projecting to process 3 billion worth of transactions in this year. And our monthly revenue is close to 210K, and we're growing at 10% month over month. We're projecting a ARR of dollars. We make 15 basis points per transaction, about a million. And Akshay and me, we have been working together for a while. Prior to this, we had a healthcare financing startup which got acquired in 2023, and both of us come from fintech background. We raised close to $1 million in investments and grants over the last 1 year for Credible. We have multiple licenses like US MSB, Indian FIU crypto exchange, and recently we applied for a Canadian MSB plus PSP license. All these IPs will be transferred to our SPC structure, which will be launching the Cred token as part of our MetaDAO launch pretty soon. We already have got approval for launching on MetaDAO as a permissioned project. Cred token will essentially be accruing value from the revenue that is generated by the platform. Also, the fintechs which are using Credible for use cases like remittance, payment collection, payouts, and so on, those fintechs will offer exclusive perks to the Cred token holders. Let's enable T+0 settlement for the global payments. Please contact us and follow us on Twitter. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Marcelo and this is Luis, and together we're building Frames.ag.
The world has changed. OpenClaw recently surpassed the popularity of React and Linux on GitHub. OpenClaw lets anyone run local agents. On top of that, Meta just acquired Mopebook, and it's essentially a social network for agents. So it is clear that agents are taking over the world and they're becoming long-running workers. We also have stablecoin rails ready for mainstream adoption, and businesses look at this and they want to, grab this demand. The pieces are all here for a new economy. But the problem is most agents are still limited to free and basic resources. They don't know how to use the stablecoin rails, and businesses are not ready for it yet. So the internet is not prepared. But with Frames, we're building the access layer for the agent internet, so we can solve all these problems.
And the first piece are payments. And for that, we build Agent Wallet. Instantly, every agent gets its own secure and already funded server wallet. The onboarding is as simple as a single prompt, and it works across any client, like OpenClaw or Cloud Code. You're also able to set strict policies, and we abstract crypto from it whenever possible. We also provide the tools for these agents to consume. So we have a list of high-quality curated endpoints with diverse capabilities. All of them are pay-per-use and no API key is needed. So just to show you a quick example, we have prepared this prompt where we have attached these slides that we're showing you, and we ask him to create an image summary of what we're presenting using a tool from our registry, an image generation tool. So while he is working on that, let's continue the presentation. Tools are just a single example of what agents can access to become more powerful. Payments via agent wallet are the key to unlocking real access to the internet.
And we just launched. As you can see, we're seeing steady growth with 700 agents using the platform, processing more than 60,000 events, including multi-chain transactions. And we're also processing about 200 X42 payments every single day on average. And this is us. We combine deep engineering and design skills, and we've been building in the X42 space since the beginning. We know that agents are becoming a new type of user for the internet, but with Frames, we're giving them the real access to it.
Let's see if that image summary worked out. All right. Nice. So as you can see, it summarized everything in an image. And for that, it used one of our tools and made a micropayment to it. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Drumil and I'm the founder of Archer. With Archer, we are building the global trading engine on Solana. So over $100 trillion of assets are waiting to be tokenized, but crypto is simply not ready. Market makers are charging extremely high spreads because the current state is not favorable for them. To become the global asset hub and enable them in crypto, we need to provide primitives that are favorable for market makers. We need to put the matching engine on chain and make them extremely transparent and verifiable. And we also need to lower down the cost for market making and make them more deterministic. That's why we are building Archer. Archer is a fully on-chain order book exchange that achieves all of this and is already live on Solana today. Archer lowers down the cost for market making by 10x by using extremely efficient primitives. The matching engine lives fully on-chain and is transparent and verifiable by anyone. It also has a retail flow segmentation that prioritizes maker updates and lets them code tightly without facing adverse selection. We are already live with Spot, and the matching engine is modular enough to be extended to perps in the near future. The result is that we get a global trading engine stack which lives entirely on Solana. It is completely open source, transparent, and verifiable, and it is also regulatory friendly because anyone can just check the chain at any given time. Archer is the most performant on-chain club on Solana. Some of the market-making operations are 200x more efficient than the previous attempts. The result is that we get extremely tighter spreads because the cost basis for market making is extremely low. Archer is already live with Spot on certain markets with less than 1 basis points of spread, and we are also onboarding more assets like stocks and commodities in the coming weeks. Archer is quite competitive with the existing systems, and we expect the competitiveness to grow extremely exponentially as we onboard more market makers and traders. Archer's community is quite strong. We have 1,000 plus power users, part of the private beta program, and we also have a strong presence on socials without any paid marketing, and it's completely organic. We have an extensive experience of building in crypto, and our trading systems that we've built in the past have traded over hundreds of $1 million of volume, and we are excited to build Archer together. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kevin Nielsen, and I'm building Superfan, the world's first global record label. Jimmy Iovine, co-founder of Interscope Records, recently said this: "The streaming services to me are minutes away from being obsolete." Why? Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, the same 100 million songs, the same algorithm, the same $11.99. When every service is identical and they don't even own the assets, music just becomes a commodity. A superfan, however, will support the culture in a myriad ways. The gap between what a fan is willing to pay and what they actually pay for music is the largest uncaptured market in the industry. Nobody is monetizing this at the moment. The gap doesn't just evaporate, though. It removes an alternative that an artist has. There's no way to monetize fan conviction, which means that there's only one place to turn for financing or capital: labels. And the labels have built the entire deal structure around that desperation. Predatory terms that haven't appeared by accident. Today, you can buy stock in a company. You can bet on a sports team. You can back a startup on day one. You can't take a financial position in an artist you believe in. That market has never existed, and it really should. And when it does, it can create something no algorithm can reproduce, a signal that's made of real skin in the game. Superfan is just that, conviction infrastructure for music and culture. Fans take financial positions on the artist that they believe in. Opinion markets price that belief in real time. So when an artist grows, every early believer wins. I've personally been building in crypto for 8 years, the last 5, which I spent building Boardroom, which we scaled to hundreds of thousands of users and was acquired by Agora. All of this before I turned my focus back to where I started, the music industry. Alongside me is Carl. He and I have been shipping product for years, and Doran, who's building the entire world around Superfan and the fans and the artists as well. Right now, a handful of people in a few cities decide what the entire world hears. Not because they have a better taste, because they have the capital. Superfan changes the equation. Fan conviction becomes capital. The capital becomes coordination, and that coordination becomes the culture itself. This is the first fan-run label in history. Millions of A&R reps, everyone with skin in the game. The Superfan beta is currently live, and the first test market is open. You can scan the code here to try it for yourself. And if you want to go deeper, you know where to find us. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Liam, and thank you for joining us today. Today, I'm going to be talking about Rekt, where we make it easy to bet small and win big. Now, before we dive into the product, let's talk about the world around us. Everybody is betting on anything and everything. And we see this with the numbers. There's been over a 20x increase in perps volume, prediction market volume over the last 2 years alone, and over 75% of retail trades are happening on mobile first. And so we asked ourselves, what if trading felt as simple as playing a game? What if we removed all of the complex jargon and simplified it with fun, simple, intuitive, and social ways to be able to trade amongst friends? And that brings us to Rekt. Rekt is built from the ground up to make it as simple as possible, but also fun to be able to trade and ride the market. From just a couple of taps to be able to place an order, to being able to access real-world markets all around you, and be able to stretch that dollar as far as possible with real significant buying power, turning $1 into $100 has never felt so good. But we wanted to take that a step further and actually build games. And so we focused first and foremost on, okay, how can we make it easy to just bet every 60 seconds on the market? How can we make it easy to just make the decision between is the next candle going to be red or green, and give you an opportunity to win every 60 seconds with near instant validation? But we all know that all the best games are social, and trading should be too. And so that's why we're building in both local and global leaderboards throughout the experience, making it easy for you to follow your friends, track traders, and win together. And what we're really focused on at the end of the day is we want to build a world-class intuitive experience. So we're focusing on the experience now, working with world-class partners across the ecosystem, and then we'll be building our own primitives later this year. We're focused right now on onboarding a small cohort of private testers to onboard to Rekt, get them familiarized, get their feedback, and iterate on the product. We'll be ramping this up over the next couple of months and targeting a full GA release by end of Q2. I've been building all across the ecosystem, starting off with my beginnings at blockchain at Berkeley, working on stablecoins at PayPal, and most recently working on incubations at Anagram. We're going to be raising $1.5 million to build out the future of gamified trading, and we would love to have you on board. Thank you for the time, and would love to have any questions. Just reach out to me directly. Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Michael from Yumi Finance, and we are working on cheaper and faster SMB trade credit based on granular deal-level risk scoring. More than 80% of global trade runs on trade finance, which provides the capital to bridge the gap between when a supplier ships goods and when a buyer pays for them, to help the supplier and the buyer better manage their cash flows. But the issue is that last year alone, the unmet demand for trade finance was estimated to be $2.5 trillion US, which mostly affects SMBs and emerging markets, as the rejection rate for SMBs is over 40%. Our thesis is that banks are purely not built for trade finance. They are data poor, they misprice risk, they have recourse on the seller and they take weeks to months to approve. Banks only have the data to be able to predict the delinquency of the borrower via account statements and credit score, while the real risk lies in the delinquency of the counterparty, as the counterparty, the buyer, is the one that pays for the goods in the end. So we solve this via scoring with granular deal-level data. We score the counterparty based on entity type and field, account statement, tax reports, trade history, and more. We also score the deal itself, like what is the type of good or service being sold? Is the good perishable? Is the good spoilable? What is the corridor? What is the industry risk? If there's a signed contract, what are the terms? What are the non-payment clauses? If we can later resell the good, if the buyer defaults, and so on. And then, just like banks, we also use borrower data, but again on a deeper level with tax reports, invoice history, P&L data, CRM data, and counterparty trade history. This allows us to beat the banks in every category. We approve a loan in under 24 hours. We don't require any collateral for the deal. And then talking about instruments that banks uses to do trade finance, the first two ones being working capital and factoring are available to SMBs, but they are quite expensive. And what's worse, they have recourse on the borrower, which is a terrible deal for anyone doing export. And the latter two instruments being double factoring and LCs, in theory, they should solve the recourse issue, but they're much more expensive. And in practice, they just don't exist for SMBs. So we bring a fully online solution with 1 to 3% fee for a 30-day terms and with funding in under 24 hours. And what's the most important, recourse on the buyer and not on the seller. We've picked Central Asia as one of our first markets because the gap for trade finance there is one of the biggest. And more specifically in Uzbekistan, we speak their language, and we have also found early clients and design partners to help us build. We have signed on 5 design partners ranging from food exporters to construction material dealers and textile exporters in Uzbekistan and in Central Asia. With them, we have proved our core insights that the non-recourse ways of trade finance being double factoring and LCs are unavailable for SMBs, and the only existent ones are factoring and working capital loans, which are, as I said, expensive and have recourse on the borrower. This is our team, and if you would love to chat more, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Riley, co-founder and CEO of Synthesis. Growth in prediction markets can't be ignored. They're a brand new asset class where there's a new situation to monitor every day. And as prediction market volume grows, so does the number of traders, builders, and interfaces. So we set out to build Synthesis, an interface dedicated to this new asset class. We built out our own tooling and infrastructure from the ground up, including zero block copy trading, our own wallet infrastructure, news aggregation, minute-by-minute P&L, and the fastest order execution. But we realized we weren't the only ones needing this. We started getting inbound from market makers, other builders, vibe traders, looking to make their own tools. So it only made sense for us to open up our API, as now we could get 10x the distribution we previously had. Our growth over the past 2 months has been up and to the right. And with our new API product, we believe we're going to grow even faster. With our interface alone, we've had roughly 130 new traders every week and over 50% week-over-week growth in volume. The number of builders in prediction markets has been on a continuous uptrend as well. Over 200 on Polymarket alone. They're wanting access to things such as historical order book data, the fastest detection for copy trading, cross-exchange data, and execution. Previously, I used to work at Deloitte as an engineer under their blockchain auditing team, where we built out our own internal alchemy. After work every day, I'd be figuring out how to get the highest arbitrage between exchanges on prediction markets, and eventually got fed up with the UX and knew there had to be something better. And my co-founder, Ohm, who previously founded a payment service provider infrastructure company, worked at American Bitcoin and had started building out a terminal for a hackathon project 2 years ago. And he was one of the first to do it before everyone else started building their own. We met off a cold call as he was one of the first builders in this space. I quit my job, he dropped out, and we moved to New York to build for the next 100 billion in volume. you're interested in joining our mission to build the infrastructure for the future of derivatives, please scan the QR code to try Synthesis. And please schedule a time to chat with us about prediction markets. Thank you.
$33 trillion in stablecoins transactions last year, every single one permanently public, traceable by anyone forever. This creates real operational risk. DAOs expose their treasury strategy, funds sign their positions, and companies make every contracted payment public and permanent. The workaround today is routing through centralized exchanges, which introduces custody risks, settlement delays, and total loss of composability. Cloak makes every transaction private through a sealed pool with zero-knowledge proofs verified on-chain. No external observer can connect RNG to destination. But here's what makes us different from every other privacy protocol. Transparency is configurable. Generate audited reports for regulators, give compliance team full visibility, and share scoped access with auditors, without exposing anything to competitors or the public. Privacy by default, compliant by design. So how it works? Viewing keys are derived client-side from a single wallet signature. Every transaction is committed to a Merkle-3 with encrypted metadata on-chain. Compliance reports are reconstructed on demand directly from the blockchain. No central database, nothing to hack, nothing to leak. We have 3 entry points, our web and mobile platform for the retail users, and our TypeScript SDK that lets any protocols integrate private payments without building zero-knowledge infrastructure. Proof generation happens on client side in under 1 second. Then submit transactions through the sealed pool, everything asserted by the Solana runtime. For improving the anonymity set, we run bots that keeps injecting dummy transactions, preventing traffic analysis. So, unlike our competitors, privacy doesn't degrade when volume drops. Our go-to-market has 3 phases. Q1 is the foundation, security audit, beta testing, and user feedbacks. Q2 is growth, user acquisition, and at least 5 protocols integrations to validate our business model. Q3 is scale, seed round, and partnership expansion. I'm Arthur, CEO and co-founder of Cloak. We are 4 full-time founders with a broad background in software development, from core Solana companies to international banks. Institutional capital needs privacy infrastructure to operate on-chain at scale. Solana has a performance, we have the solution. Thank you.
Okay, that's it for today. The Demo Day portal will be accessible going forward, and you'll be able to watch the recording of all these pitches, as well as click into the startup pages on the sidebar. Thanks again for attending. We'll be sending out more information via email, and we hope to see you next Accelerator Demo Day. Bye-bye.